Have you ever felt like you're on the verge of a mental breakdown? Or maybe you actually did have a mental breakdown? Like, I'm talking tears, I'm talking snot, I'm talking screaming and crying and just unsure and doubtful, and it's almost like you're in this pit of darkness. In this video, I'm gonna tell you about a mental breakdown, an emotional breakdown I had recently, and why it's important to sometimes go through that and what I learned on the other side. Hey, I'm Dan Candell, your anxiety relief guy, and if you're new to me, make sure you share, you rate, you subscribe, you like, you comment, because I'm gonna get real in this video. Oh my gosh, over the weekend, and it was the 4th of July weekend here in the United States, and I had a moment. I had several moments, and it started on Friday. Before I started my weekend, a good friend called, and we were having a conversation, and it actually triggered some really deep, dark emotions, and I had to mute the phone when she was talking because I was crying, and then she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm laughing." And I stayed in that negative emotional upheaval for like a day and a half, and I just kept having these breakdowns. I was crying. I was just everything was just piling on top of me, or so it felt. And I of course teach people how to stop those emotions if they become distracting, but sometimes we need to just sit and process and feel. And I want to explain the benefit of doing this, and what I discovered, what I learned about this emotional breakdown. And just so you know, this isn't a cry for help. I am fine. I worked through it. I'm going to tell you how I worked through it. I'm going to tell you everything that happened. This is not in any way a cry for help. So I appreciate those of you who are going to reach out and say, "I hope everything is okay. We saw your video. We're glad you're doing well now." I so appreciate that. Love and compassion to all of you. But know that yes, I am okay. No, K-N-O-W. Please know that yes, I am okay. and it was a moment, right? It was a moment. Now, if those moments are more consistent, then that would be an issue. If they are distracting and they're long term, then that would be an issue. And that's where people do need to seek out the help of a professional. But here's what happened. Every day for about 2 weeks, I was getting phone calls from people of just everything that was wrong and going wrong, and I realized as I was going through my breakdown, I felt really guilty. And it was coming from a place of guilt. I felt guilty that I wasn't able to be there as much as I wanted to be for my friends, for my family. I was guilty, felt guilty that they were going through difficult times, and I couldn't really help them through it in the way that I wanted to. And a big part of this is because of the pandemic. A big part of it is, people are being very cautious of who they see and where they go. And my friend group falls in that category of, we're just very cautious. Many of us have parents who are older, and we want to protect them. And so we do it in the best way that we know how and in the best way possible. But part of that means we can't really be there for one another when we really want to be. So a lot of it was a feeling of guilt. But here's what also happened. You see, if I didn't process those emotions, so I lost my shit and just cried and felt really awful and felt really, really gross. But what helped was when the friend who called me started asking me questions about something that I'm really good at. So my friend actually was asking me questions about some emotional stuff that they were going through. and I was able to help them, and that made me feel so much better when I was able to help somebody else. So it kind of took the heat off of me and put it on them, and I no longer felt as guilty because at least I was able to help them in some way, and provide them some support. And that helped me feel better. And then the next day I started to feel down again, so I started moving my body, and I went on what I call a clarity run. And a clarity run is where I just run, and I run, and I run. And I understand running isn't for everybody, physical activity isn't for everybody, although it gets the endorphins flowing. And on this clarity run, I literally played the sappiest music that you can possibly imagine. Like love songs, soft rock, I'm pretty sure like the Titanic song came in there at some point. And I listened to that, and on this run, I had a very therapeutic, enlightening cry moment. And you're like, damn, now this crying is going on for like 2 days. It's a little much, but just bear with me. And while I had that moment, I realized that there were some other things that were going on under the layers. There were some things that were happening underneath the surface, and I needed to process stuff. And that's when I processed, oh my gosh, it's guilt that I'm feeling. It's guilt. It's also just a feeling of like unknown, like I don't know when I'm gonna see my friends again, and it was this huge feeling of guilt. And when I processed that and I realized that, wow, there's a lot that's going on underneath the surface. And I explain it like this. Our minds and our bodies and our responses to things, it's just like a cell phone, just like a smartphone, and I'm gonna call iPhone. I'm gonna use iPhone as an example here because I have an iPhone. Let's say that your iPhone is dropping a charge a lot sooner than it should, and it seems kind of like buggy. It's dropping calls. It's operating really slow. It's just getting held up, and you're like, what the hell? This is an expensive phone. This is supposed to work. And you go and you open up all the apps that you've been using, they've been running in the background. You realize all of a sudden all these apps have been running in the background and bogging your phone down. It's been cutting down the battery life. It's been causing your phone to run slow. So what do? You go and you clear out all the apps. While you're clearing out the apps, you're like, I didn't even know these were open. So you clear them all out. Then you go and you look at some and you're like, oh, that one's not beneficial anymore. I don't use that one anymore. Delete. And you delete a couple of apps. All of a sudden, your phone holds a charge. It starts working a lot faster. It starts working a lot better. And it's like, that was easy. Our minds and our body's responses are the same exact way. So many times we have shit that's lying underneath the surface that we're not even aware of until we take time. And what this emotional breakdown did, it told me I need to take time for myself. Even though I felt guilty, I wasn't able to be there for my friends and my family in the way that I necessarily want to, that I need to get back to what's important to me. And like, I needed a mental health day. And it's almost like I was forcing myself to go and be around people when for just a day, I wanted to sit and just have like a Netflix marathon. And I needed that time because even though I'm not seeing certain friends and family, there's like a bubble of people that I do see. And I love all of these people, but it's like I was forcing myself to be on more than I should. And I needed that decompression time, and I wasn't giving it to myself. The other thing that I know is that tears releases toxins that the only way you can release are through tears. Some people, though, it's almost like they release enough tears to fill an ocean, and with all the toxins that are released from tears, like they cry enough tears to kill all the wildlife in the sea. and again, if that's what's happening, then it is time to seek out the help of a professional. So let's say you go through like a mini emotional breakdown like I did. Number one, take time for yourself. Number two, reflect back on what could be lying underneath the surface. And if you need help navigating that, that's actually what I help people do. I help people gain control over those emotions and clear a lot of the clutter that's been lying underneath the surface. I help people update those programs. I needed to give myself a little mental reboot. I needed to give myself a mental health day, and I got it. Another thing that really helped me process was be honest with people and like, I'm sorry guys, I don't want to go hang out today. I need a day to myself. And if you're true friends or your true friends and family, they will understand that you need to take time for yourself. And fortunately, I was able to do that. And so when did I start feeling better? Because I shared this with a couple of people, and they're like, when did you start feeling better? I started feeling better when I said to myself, and when I reminded myself, I can feel my emotions too. And I help so many people, and I work with so many people. I absolutely love what I do, but sometimes I need to separate from it. And one of the ways that I actually separate from it, this is gonna sound so artsy-fartsy, but just go with me. One of the ways I separate is I actually paint rocks. I paint stones. I do like these really interesting, I'm looking to see if I have any around here. I don't, but I'll show you on the next video. I do these really intricate like dot paintings on stones, and I love it because it's so mindless and it just directs all my focus to that. So that's another thing you can do, is find some hobby or find something that you can do that kind of takes your mind away from everything else that you've been thinking about. Also, one other thing I realized, I'm sorry, I know there's a lot of like things I realized, like it's not all about me, but right now it is. One of the other things I realized is that I can't solve all the world's problems, and I need to remind myself of that, and you can't either. You can't solve everybody's problems 100% of the time, and it's about setting boundaries and limits. That's where it reminded me, okay, maybe you're doing a little too much work sometimes, or maybe you're not taking like scheduling a mental health day. And yes, I schedule time in my schedule to work out, to cook food, to prepare meals, but it's those mental health days I just need to block off. One other thing that I discovered is when I drive, I love to drive. I have a Jeep Wrangler, I drive with my doors off and everything like that, and take my roof off. I even have lights that I installed in my car. Best 20 bucks I ever bought on Amazon. My car looks like a driving disco ball at nighttime, and I blast music. And I absolutely love that because it's such a freeing feeling. The two times I did have in that emotional breakdown was I was feeling very confined, and just being in that open space allowed me a sense of balance, and it allowed me a reminder to say, I can be free, and I can be free from this, and I've got this. I just need to process these emotions and get them out. And yes, sometimes we just need to get them out, and it's okay to feel those emotions. Again though, if it becomes too destructive or too distracting, or if you can't shut them off and it becomes a lifestyle, that's where you need help of a professional. So this is my way of showing it's okay to feel your emotions. It's okay to cry every once in a while. I mean, look at me, I'm a 33-year-old guy. It's okay to cry every once in a while. It's okay to let those emotions out. And just know that, let it be purposeful. Process what you need to process. Have a reason, have a purpose. And I promise, on the other side, when you discover what's lying underneath and you start clearing some of that, that's where you really start to make some positive changes and shifts in your life. So with that said, if you need help making a positive shift and change in your life, And if you feel like you need to control your emotions, or if you feel like you need to clear some of the stuff that's been causing that fatigue or overwhelm, or even manage that stress or anxiety, I'm your anxiety relief guy. So hit me up for a complimentary discovery session. I see people both one-on-one and in groups as well. Right now I have like about a 3 or 4 week waiting list. So if you don't mind waiting, if you don't mind waiting, no, we don't do that. If you don't mind waiting, I promise it'll be well worth your while. And I have a lot of people that want to work with me, so a lot of people are lined up, but you know, I always love to take on some new people when I can. So first step is to reach out to me. After I poured out my heart, and I promise this wasn't a complaining video, this is more of I want to teach you things and also let you know that I'm human too, and we gotta feel and be in that humanness sometimes. So with that said, my friends, check out my website, dancandell.com, see the things I have to offer. You can go buy one of my books, The Hypnotic Connection, or, which is over there, The Rap Induction Formula. With that said, be well, do good, be true to who you are.